Okay, good morning. I know some of you are asking a lot about the set notation that was asked in your mastery check. We hadn't talked about that, so not a big deal. My goal was to see how well you were solving inequalities. So now we are going to add that set notation. Basically, what I need you to understand from this is you will have different directions that say set notation or interval notation. So I will show you the difference, but this paper specifically talks about interval notation. Okay, so kind of before where you always had expressed it as like x is less than 0 or x is greater than or equal to -2, that is something that you've already gotten used to by showing the solutions. So your interval notation is kind of just another way of showing what my solutions could be. So you're going to have to know the difference between parentheses and brackets to show where the graph starts and ends. So that's one of the most important key parts, brackets or parentheses. Okay, a lot of you are going to catch on to some simple little tricks to pay attention to. So again, interval notation, you will see parentheses or you will see a bracket. Don't let the bracket throw you off with absolute value. Okay, absolute value has the straight up and down bars. Brackets curve in, don't curve in, but they turn in. Okay, so interval notation, here are the symbols. So if you have a parenthesis, it means it's not included or that you have an open circle. Okay, so if you remember before when you were graphing everything. And then you have your bracket, meaning that it includes or it's a closed circle. So again, just remember your basic graphing inequalities. So I'm going to pick two examples to do with you, and then I'm going to show you the comparison of interval notation to set notation. So I'm going to kind of add on to your notes here. Okay, so when you are solving, you solve it just like you normally would. Okay, don't forget to distribute to both items. Some of you are forgetting that second item, so slow down, okay? All right, and then you're going to subtract both sides. 4x is greater than -36, and yes, you should be dividing by 4. So in that case, it is x is greater than -9. That is how you typically have answered your inequalities. So based on your graph, most of you should recognize that you should have an open circle, so it's unshaded, on -9, and because it is greater than, I'm going to shade everything that is greater than. So remember, everything shaded is a solution. Again, I'll say that. Everything that's shaded is a solution. -9 is not shaded, it's not a solution. It's just kind of acting as like a barrier, as a target. Okay, so moving on to the algebra part. Now we're going to include our bracket or our parentheses. So according to this, because I have an open circle, I know I need parentheses. My thing is though, where do I put it? Okay, is my -9 the largest number or is it the smallest number? Okay, hopefully you told me it was the smallest number. So -9 comes first. I'm going to put parentheses on that side. I'm going to put a comma. And then with that, I had any number all the way to the right that can be a solution. So I'm going to use that infinite. And because it is never ending, you're just going to use another parenthesis to close it out. So in this case, you're going to have a normal set of parentheses. Okay, and now you're probably wondering, okay, well, what about the set builder? Okay, so set builder is when you see something with this squiggly. I'm going to put sets over here. So this is your set notation. Your set notation is where you're going to see those squiggly brackets, which, you know, you either get it or you don't. And then you're going to tell me this part is X. So what this all means, when you look at this, it's telling you that when you have the set of all X such that, that's what that line is, it's only one straight line, it's not an absolute value. And X is going to be greater than, oops, I gotta put my X in there. I knew I was gonna run out of room. All right, so I'm gonna redo this right down here so I have more room. So the set of X, all of X, such that X is greater than -9, and I'm gonna close my set. So your set has the squigglies. I'm really sorry for my mistake, so I'll white it out for you. Okay, so your set builder notation, you have your squiggly brackets. I'm sure they're called something a little bit more appropriate, but just understand that you have the little, they are not your solid brackets up here or your parentheses. All right, so with that being said, your set notation, the set of all x such that x is greater than -9, and then you close your set with the other squiggly bracket. Okay, so typically, I don't know if you remember seeing a set of numbers when you were dealing with integers. When you were given a set of numbers, you were given the squiggly brackets. So way back last year, you might have been told you had included -4, -3, -2, -1, and then you closed it. That was all part of a set. And so this dealt with integers, it dealt with functions. So whenever you have a set, you have at least 3 numbers in a set. So anyone who plays cards, if you're given a set, you need at least 3. A pair is 2, a set is at least 3. Okay, so I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, I need a break from this. Let me rewatch it. Take a break, rewatch it, okay? So at this point, hopefully you have taken a little bit of break and tried out number 2, okay? So with number 2, it's very similar to number 1. So I'm going to skip number 2, and I'm going to go down to number 3. Number 3 is slightly different, and hopefully you see the difference. So in this case, I'm going to have to probably shorten my work a little bit. Don't forget to distribute right here, 2x. And don't forget, right here, that's going to turn into a positive 8, plus 8. So 7x minus 2x plus 8 is less than or equal to -2. Combine your like terms, 7x minus 2x. Try adding in numbers, apparently. All right, now I have 5x plus 8 is less than or equal to -2. I'm going to subtract my 8. That leaves me with 5x is less than or equal to -10. I'm going to divide by my coefficient, which is a positive number. So my outcome is x is less than or equal to -2. And now you're going to see when you're graphing this, and again, your number line doesn't have to look exactly like mine, just hopefully you have a -2 somewhere on there. So if you remember how to plot your point, your -2 can be a solution. So not only am I going to put the circle there, but I'm going to shade it in. And then I'm going to shade to the left because it says everything less than -2. And remember, anything less than goes to the left. Okay, so now this is what you've normally been doing. Okay, now we're going to take it to the interval notation. So remember to go back up here and look at this information. Well, if I have a closed circle, I know I'm going to need that bracket this time. However, what side does it go on? Okay, so if you remember before, I showed you that -9 went on the left because it was less than, whereas -2 is actually, in this case, the bigger number. So my -2 is going to go on the right, and that's where I'm going to put my bracket because it stops it and it includes the -2. So the -2 can be a solution, but then everything to the left is going to be included. And I'm really sorry for my inequality symbol. That looks a little like a bow, but all right. So your interval notation is parenthesis, -infinite, comma, -2 brackets, because the -2 is included. Okay. Set notation. Now in this case, your set notation is going to look very similar. You're going to have, if the set of x such that x is going to be less than or equal to -2, and then close your brackets, close your squiggly brackets. Don't worry, it's okay if you're still confused. The good news is I would like you to finish out 2 and 4. Come show me so I can give you any feedback. Okay, so at this point, after you're done with number 4, I want you to come get checked by me real quick, okay? And then what I'm going to have you do is do a little bit more practice on the back. I'm not trying to bombard you with the numbers. I just want you to understand the concept. And if you could try out the set notation, but it's not not horrible if you don't know it, but I think with the worksheet, I think it would be beneficial. And you will see it again, maybe not so much this year, but you will see it in your next algebra group. All right, good luck. Take your time, take a breath. Don't panic. I promise it will be okay. All right, thank you.